So recently I was talking to one of my friends on Etsy and I asked her why her shop wasn't open anymore, and she said it was because she was having trouble with her machine clogging and with the tension being off in her sewing machine, and her sewing machine was just not being her friend. So I talked her through how to do a basic clean out of it, and I told her next time I cleaned out my machine I would videotape it. She has a pretty similar machine to mine. The only difference is that her tension wheel is down by the needle instead of up here at the top, but otherwise her machine is really similar to mine. So I figured I would put it up on YouTube for anybody else who wanted to see me clean out my machine. So I'm going to be going through my machine, I'm going to be cleaning out the whole bottom of the machine, and if that doesn't work to fix my problem, I'm going to be cleaning out the top of the machine. As you can see, I have the thread off it and I have the bobbin out of it. There's no bobbin in here. So I'm going to try to get you the best view that I can of me cleaning out my sewing machine, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go on an adventure. Also, I know the lighting's not the best, but bear with me. It's 7 p.m. on a rainy day. I have every light that I can turned on. So, first things first, this is the piece that covers the bobbin. I have a top-loading bobbin machine. If you have a side-loading bobbin machine, then none of this is going to apply to you. I also have an optional insert here. It's a table-looking kind of thing. It's this. My machine has this sewing insert. I don't normally use it, especially if I'm doing a small liner or a cuddle cup or a cozy, because it just kind of gets in the way. So, take that off. Next thing we're going to do is unplug the machine, just in case. And then we're going to go ahead and take our sewing needle out of the machine. So when you turn this little guy right here, you might need a screwdriver to do so. I do not. My fingers are strong enough. As you release it, it will loosen your needle, which you can then take down and out. Whenever you're installing a needle, the flat side goes back. Okay? I have a universal needle in right now. If you're sewing through fleece, it is a good idea to have a ballpoint needle. The foot of your machine over here should have a little lever. Mine is black, kind of hard to see, and when you pull it up, it'll release the foot on the machine. We're going to take that out also. Alright, now we're going to take the plates off the bottom. Normally your plastic plate will come off. Even if you don't have your metal plate off, it'll just kind of snap into place. Remember how this goes on, okay? It seems like such a silly little thing, but trust me, you're going to be fiddling with it if you don't remember. Always lay your pieces out on the side as neatly as you can, because trust me, you don't want to lose them. You can already see all the dust and stuff on the machine. Next, we're going to take this metal plate off. Now, when I purchased, or more likely when I received this machine as a gift, I also received a general maintenance and repair kit for all Brother machines at the time. The problem is that this generic Brother repair kit came with 2 screwdrivers, neither of which actually, let me zoom out, neither of which actually fits where I need it to get those screws out. So instead of using the screwdriver that doesn't fit, I use a penny. Okay, we're gonna take these out. Again, be careful not to lose any of the pieces of your sewing machine, because they can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get again. Okay? We can now take this plate off. Try your best to remember which direction it goes. As you can see, it has a couple little hooks and things. You just really want to pay attention when you're taking it off. I've taken mine off a million times before. Looking in now, we have this piece. It looks like it should spin. It really shouldn't. It is actually held on by a magnet and a magnetic plate. Remember how this goes in? I know I'm repeating that a million times, but it's actually pretty tricky to get back in once you get it out. As case in point by the fact that I'm screwing that up right now. There we go. This is how it goes in. It should only rotate a little bit. When you put it back in at the end, don't be freaked out that it doesn't rotate all the way. It's not really supposed to. So we're going to take that out. And then look at all the yucky dirt we have in there. Let me see if I can't get a flashlight to show that to you. Look at how beautiful and dirty that is. So, we have two options now. We can either try to go in with a baby brush or a pipe cleaner or something like that and try to get all the lint out manually, or we can go with trying to rip the entire machine apart. I prefer to do the former because I really don't like opening up this machine and tearing it apart personally. Seems a little reckless to me, so let's get to it. Q-tips are very, very good for getting into the machine, and for some reason lint really is pretty good at sticking to them. So keep Q-tipping as long as you can. Always try to start from the top of the machine and work your way down, because lint will fall down as you go. Working on Q-tip number 3 now. Try not to get your Q-tip stuck. Alright, so now that I've gotten out most of the lint that I can reach, I'm going to take some sewing machine oil, put it on a Q-tip, and use that to get out any stubborn lint that just doesn't want to move. I do not recommend doing this every time, nor do I recommend trying to do it the first time you do it, if that makes sense. Most machines nowadays come with all the oil they'll ever need, supposedly according to the manufacturer. So you're really not supposed to oil them up yourself, but this is probably the 5th or 6th time I've cleaned this machine just recently, and I know that when I go in with a cotton swab, I do take a little bit of oil out, so I would just rather, you know, replenish what I've taken from it, if that makes sense. What I'm going to do, can you see over here? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little drop on the Q-tip, like that, go in, and pick up any stubborn lint, like this. Don't use water. Water will make a sewing machine rust, and then nobody will be happy. Nobody wants a rusty sewing machine. I also want to stress that it is not a good idea to over-oil your machine. In cases like this, less is usually more. The more oil you have down here, the more fluff is going to stick to your parts. So, really, don't over-oil your machine. Okay? And I'm going to do one more pass with a normal clean Q-tip, just on any areas that seem a little too oily. Again, do not over oil your machine. Okay? So that's it. And now I gotta try to put it back together. Okay, so put this guy back together now. This only fits in here one way, really. So, Alright, when you're screwing this back on, you need to make sure that this can rotate like that. Okay? Don't. Yeah. through my penny. Funny story, the last time I was doing this machine, I was screwing in this screw over here, and I dropped my penny down that hole into the bottom of the sewing machine, like a smart person. So, that was fun. I had to get another penny and open it up, and I was so mad at it. Don't drop your penny in the sewing machine. And you're pretty much done now. Just gonna go ahead and just... And I'm going to be replacing my old needle with a new ballpoint needle. Alright, so the machine is cleaned out all on the bottom. I have not done anything to the top. I will not do anything to the top unless I absolutely have to, just a personal preference. Again, I don't want to risk ripping it apart and not having it fit back together. The bottom is a lot easier to deal with than the top, because when you open up the top, you actually have to turn the machine onto its side and take the whole back half off, and I mean, maybe you don't have to do that with yours, but I have to do that with mine, and I'd rather not. So, we have the bobbin all cleaned out, put back together, whatevs. The problem now, why we can't just go ahead and start sewing and see if I did it right, is because my machine has automatic tension. That means it only has one tension wheel. You can tell it's the tension wheel because it'll have two lines between the middle tensions. It should go down to 0 and up to 9 or 10. The best way to fix your tension on an automatic tensioned machine is to turn it on, yeah I know I plugged it back in, and to just keep bouncing from 0 up to 9, pushing it a little bit past the number each time as far as it'll go, down 0, up to 9, and keep doing it over and over again until you're ready to strangle your machine. And yes, it does have a neck. And on your final pass, you're going to want to work from the bottom up, and you're going to go back either where you started or in the middle. Alright? Let's do a test run. Miscellaneous, loose, sloppy looking stitches. So I'm going to try playing with my tension again, going from 0 back to 9. And I'm going to keep doing that again. So this is our final run through. 1 on tension 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5. 7 is where I had the most tension problems. 5 is where I had the least. I had previously been sewing at 4.5. I think I'm going to stick with 5 because I'm not having any tension problems with that. And that's pretty much what we're looking at. So thank you guys so much for going through this little battle with me. I hope that you found at least a little bit of what I did helpful to you. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time, guys.